Hey people, Shaman Hawk here for Shamanic Lodge. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about shamanic visions, awakenings, and then a follow-up afterwards. As many times that I've seen in my life, there'll be these waves of wake-ups. And in these shamanic awakenings, people will get very clear visions of what they need to be doing in the future. Past life regressions can happen automatically. They can get very clear pictures and descriptions of people they're going to be working with in the future and what they're going to be doing with those people. And it all gets laid out real clear and simple, and usually on the first event. And I say first event because they can have some of these reoccurring dreams and visions, but it gets filtered in with their programming. And then, of course, the other big obstacles that come from social programming: fear, guilt, shame. And because of what they see in the visions and what they think they feel they should be doing, that feel very, very natural during these awakenings and visions, in the real life, it conflicts with their social, religious, and personal programming, and they decide not to go forward with that. Unfortunately, just happens too much. This is why controlled religions, dogmatic religions, the three big ones in the world, really pushed hard on the fear, guilt, and shame, because they know that during these shamanic awakenings, the everyday person can make a huge impact on the human community and the masses in general. It's just phenomenal. You get the one person that was just let go and say, okay, just show me what I need to do. Tell me how I need to do this. I'm ready 100%. And they're willing to go through the changes. Their area just not suffers, but benefits from a huge impact because of their radiance, this person's radiance. But the thing of it is so many people go through these shamanic awakenings and these visions and get real clear instructions on what they need to be doing, but then they don't do the follow-up. And then they go, well, I don't get it. I had these great visions, but then nothing happened afterwards because you didn't follow through with it. You didn't do the pictures. I say so much in my lectures and tell my apprentices especially, you have to do the pictures. By not doing the pictures, you just broke the whole chain of what could manifest in the future. A great example of somebody who really do that is shamanic. Her name's Orshi, Shamanic Woman on Instagram. She has a YouTube channel, Shamanic Woman, 2 separate words. But she doesn't put that, so you have to really dig to find it. But anyway, she got the visions of what to do. She was going around in the spiritual scene, but then ended up finding me, had the real clear pictures of what to do, and got me into her area. And that started a 6-year journey so far that took her out of the everyday workaday world. And now she passed her apprenticeship in shamanism and working full-time, making a huge effect, not just in the city that she works, but in the surrounding areas. I have done that with people throughout my shamanic career, men and women. So the everyday person can make these huge life changes within themselves and then impact all these other people. And while they're going through their levels of growth, their power increases, and therefore their efficiency increases, and gets to the point where a person that's really radiating in their shamanic power really doesn't have to have appointments with people. By being in that area, okay, they can radiate the information that can make the catalyst happen within the person. It sends them on that shamanic journey in a really good way, so they don't have to go through all the culling and weeding out of all the new age weirdos, claiming to be shamanic teachers and so on. It just sets them off. So sometimes just by being in an area, and this is something that's normal in the shamanic path, people can just get an urge to go to this restaurant and this place way out of their normal travel, and then look around like, why am I here? Oh, I'll never figure this out, but I'm supposed to be here, and eat or have a cup of coffee or something, maybe have casual conversation with someone, and then just leave. And then you find out a time later how that area changed. But all this comes from when people do the follow-up to the shamanic awakening and the shamanic visions. And usually the shaman that's going to be going through that phase goes through a clearing phase. And let me explain that. That means that you get kind of isolated. And I've used the example of like the caterpillar going into the cocoon to just molt into that different type of a being. Shamans will do the same thing. And so we go into these isolation periods where there's like zero relationships, minimum contact with the community, working on some projects or something as we go through the molting to come out again. And usually right around that time, we're meeting someone else who went through that clearing and starting to go through that. They got the pictures to do things and so on. And normally this happens in a rash of people. And of course, you're going to talk to the first person or the most qualified person with the best scenario first. But that person doesn't always step up. And then you go to the next one and the next one and so on. And it's a sad thing to see, really, because so many people that get these visions and awakenings who could make awesome changes, the highest level of positive changes with a community, want to do it their way or have conditions on it and so on. And then that flow or that consciousness, that force that gave them that awakening or that was the catalyst for their red pill moment, just leaves. Because it's a real cut and dry situation. It's like, hey, here you go, wake up. And the person like, well, okay, great, thank you, I'm woke. But I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way. I want to wait for this. I want to blah, blah, blah. And that same flow, that same consciousness says, okay, have a nice day, bye, and leaves and moves to somebody else, someplace else. And that's what's happening now. So the other thing that can happen is a person that was going to be that pillar of enlightenment to the community service can then move to another location, even if it's just a quick trip. And what they would do is they tag light, an area that was used before, and then they go back to their location. And then that happens, they just transferred that power that they had to this place that you can move into. So the consciousness, the shamanic flow, has preferences of where it would like to go and where it would like to work for a wide variety of reasons. But it needs that humanity. It needs that human connection to make it work. People don't really realize how much humanity has an influence on the rest of the beings on this planet. And I mean, in a really positive, conscious way. But that's another video. Look, if you've gotten these visions, if you feel like you're going through an awakening process, you can write me at shamaniclodge@gmail.com. You can leave a comment on here, and I'll go ahead and make other videos on that. But I will tell you that people say, oh, shamanic life is really hard. No, shamanic life can be really awesome. The everyday hamster wheel kind of a job, that's hard in my mind. And it's hard for the freedom-oriented, the creative mind, the creative consciousness. But we get used to it. We get conditioned into that. The difficulty is caused by resistance to the flow. And so when someone gets these really clear visions on what to do, if they go along with that, and these are things, I help people go along with these visions and help them tell the difference between products of the fear, guilt, shame, and the accurate interpretations of the visions, then their life changes in a really good way. And then they become that living book, that living example of how to live sustainably in a really harmonic flow with the earth and with the universal energies, the universal truths. It is so easy, people, I tell you. It's just getting that real, taking that first couple steps, and people, when they do it into the flow, then they're like, wow, okay, yeah, you're right. Why did I resist? Because that's what people do. So, like I said, if you know someone that's going through that, have them write me. And usually I do a conference call with people, a video chat on Instagram, and then see where we can go from there. All right, guys, have a great one.